"Can I rest on your shoulder for 5 minutes?" the CEOs whispered to a single dad on Christmas night. Snow fell softly onto the city square, each flake catching the glow of Christmas lights strung like golden constellations above the street. Laughter drifted from cafes, carols hummed in the distance, and the world felt warm, except on the wooden bench where Daniel Carter, a 34-year-old single father, sat holding his sleeping son. Little Ethan, just 4 years old, was bundled in a blue winter jacket and a striped wool hat, his tiny chest rising and falling against Daniel's arm. Daniel hadn't moved in nearly an hour. His shoulder ached, his fingers were numb, but he didn't dare shift. Ethan had finally fallen asleep after a long day that began with disappointment and ended with exhaustion. Daniel had promised him a Christmas parade. What he hadn't promised, because he couldn't, were gifts. Across the bench, heels clicked softly against the pavement. Daniel looked up, startled, and found himself face to face with a woman about his age, elegant but tired. She wore a dark wool coat, her blonde hair loose around her shoulders. Her eyes were sharp, intelligent, and unexpectedly sad. She hesitated, then leaned closer, lowering her voice as if afraid the night itself might overhear. "Can I rest on your shoulder for 5 minutes?" Daniel blinked. Once. Twice. What? She gestured gently toward Ethan. "I won't wake him, I promise. I just need to sit. And you look like someone who understands being tired." Daniel studied her face. She didn't smell of perfume or entitlement. She smelled of cold air and long days. Whatever she was running from, it wasn't small talk. "Sure," he said finally. 5 minutes. She sat beside him and leaned her head lightly against his shoulder, careful not to disturb Ethan. For a moment, neither spoke. Snow continued to fall. The city breathed. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm Claire Morgan." Daniel. Another pause. "You're a good dad," she said softly, eyes on Ethan. Daniel swallowed. "I try." Claire closed her eyes. "I'm the CEO of Morgan Tech." Daniel stiffened slightly. He'd heard of it. Global company, billions in revenue. She felt the change inside. "Please don't move. Tonight, I don't want to be impressive." 5 minutes passed, then 10. Finally, she lifted her head. "My husband died 3 years ago," she said quietly. "Christmas used to be loud. Full. Now it's boardrooms and empty penthouses." Daniel nodded. "My wife passed when Ethan was 1. Christmas used to scare me. Now I just want him to feel safe." Their eyes met. Something unspoken settled between them. Claire glanced down at Ethan's worn shoes, the mended sleeve of his jacket. "Did Santa come?" Daniel smiled sadly. "He's running late." Claire stood, brushing snow from her coat. "Wait here." She returned 15 minutes later, with a bag. Inside were gloves that fit perfectly, a warm scarf, and a small wrapped box. Daniel shook his head. "You don't have to." "I know," she said. "But I want to." Ethan stirred, eyes fluttering open. "Daddy, Merry Christmas, buddy." Claire knelt in front of him. "Hi, I'm Claire." Ethan looked at the box. "Is that from Santa?" She smiled through tears. "Yes, he asked me to help." Years later, Daniel would tell Ethan that Christmas miracles don't always come wrapped in paper. Sometimes, they come as 5 quiet minutes on a snowy bench, when 2 tired souls choose kindness over walking away. And for Claire Morgan, that night reminded her that the greatest success in the world is still nothing compared to being human.